"I am an independent woman. You are holding me back," she said, like she had rehearsed the line 1,000 times. I froze mid-bite, the fork hovering between the plate and my mouth. Dinner had been normal until that moment. Candles, wine, the soft hum of a city street outside our apartment window. Her words hit me like a punch I didn't see coming. Her name is Jenna. She's 29, ambitious, unapologetic, and apparently done with me. I nodded slowly, set my fork down, and replied, "Thanks for the clarification." No pleading, no questioning, just a quiet acknowledgement of her self-declared verdict. She looked at me, expecting something. Anger, tears, begging maybe? But I stayed calm. We'd been together for 4 years. 2 of those years were blissful, a perfect balance of love, trust, and partnership. The other 2, well, they were a gradual, sneaky erosion of respect that I'd ignored, thinking love could smooth over ambition and insecurity. Jenna was proud of her independence, which I admired at first. She ran her own startup, traveled for work constantly, networked like it was oxygen. I supported her fully, financially, emotionally, and with time. I cooked dinners when she was swamped. I covered flights for conferences she couldn't afford. I stayed up late helping her draft client pitches and proofread investor decks. I didn't see it as sacrifice. I loved her. But admiration quickly soured into expectation. Every move I made, she measured against some imagined ideal: executive, founder, globetrotter. I worked a stable but modest consulting job. I had hobbies, friends, plans, and I believed in building a life together. To her, it wasn't enough. And that night, the knife was out. "I love you," she continued, "but I can't keep dragging myself down. You're safe, comfortable, but that's not the life I want. I need excitement, challenge, someone who pushes me." It wasn't jealousy. It wasn't anger, at least not yet. It was clarity. She wasn't leaving because of me. She was leaving to chase validation, to chase someone who made her feel superior instead of equal. I didn't argue. I paid the bill, left her sitting at the table, and walked out. Calm, collected, detached. The days that followed were the hardest. I slept poorly, replaying every moment of our relationship. The late nights I spent supporting her work, the trips I funded, the patience I extended while she was stressed, overwhelmed, or simply ungrateful. I realized it wasn't love that had drained me. It was one-sided loyalty. So I did something I should have done months ago. I withdrew. Not angrily, not in retaliation. I simply stopped being her emotional safety net. No calls, no texts, no "how was your day" messages. I stopped funding her ambitions too. That flight to the conference she'd bragged about? Not my problem anymore. Jenna didn't take it well. Within a week, she started texting incessantly. "Why are you doing this? Don't you love me?" I replied, politely, "I respect your independence. I'm respecting mine too."
Then came the calls. At first, I ignored them. Voicemails piled up. Pleas, accusations, guilt trips. "I'm not happy. You're punishing me. You promised you'd always be there." I smiled quietly each time I listened. Promises? I'd kept mine. The only thing I hadn't kept was her ego intact. 2 weeks in, she escalated. She called me while I was at a friend's wedding, demanding I drive across the city to help her with the presentation she was giving for her startup pitch. The audacity made me laugh. I politely declined. "You're independent," I reminded her. "Handle it yourself." She hung up, likely seething, probably expecting me to panic. I didn't. I didn't even flinch. Months went by. I focused on me. My consulting business grew. I finally launched the freelance marketing side hustle I'd been putting off for her benefit. I traveled solo, reconnected with friends, invested time in hobbies I had abandoned. I was thriving. The person I had dimmed to shine in her shadow was back, brighter than ever. Meanwhile, Jenna's so-called exciting life began to crumble spectacularly. She'd started dating this guy, Ryan, a slick, charming entrepreneur who promised adventure, glamour, and status. She boasted about him online, posting pictures of fancy dinners and networking events, subtle digs at my boring life.
But life has a funny way of revealing truth. 3 months into their relationship, Ryan began showing his colors. He manipulated, belittled, and used her connections for his own gain. Jenna, desperate to keep the excitement alive, ignored red flags. She maxed out her credit cards attending networking events he invited her to. She missed deadlines, got reprimanded at work, and started panicking about her startup's cash flow. Then, the collapse. Ryan stole a major client's pitch that Jenna had developed entirely on her own. He presented it as his own. The client awarded him the contract, leaving Jenna's company in shambles. She confronted him. He turned it around, gaslighting her into believing she was incompetent. Within weeks, he dumped her, blocked her, moved on to another startup founder. Jenna's posts turned desperate. "Choosing myself," she wrote, hiding the humiliation behind slogans about independence and growth. The network she'd flaunted ghosted her. Colleagues whispered. Friends stopped returning calls. The glamorous life she mocked me for, it evaporated. I didn't gloat. I stayed silent. I didn't have to. Karma has a way of making its presence known. Then, one evening, I got a call from Jenna's mother. I almost didn't pick up, but curiosity won. "Alex," her mother said, voice tight, "I don't know what happened, but Jenna, she's in trouble. She keeps calling me crying. I don't know what to do. Can you help her?" I laughed quietly, and for the first time, I felt fully free. "She made her choices," I said. "She has to live with them." I hung up. I wasn't angry, not anymore. I felt relief. I had built something real for myself while she was still chasing shadows. Months later, I met someone new, Claire. She's grounded, honest, independent, but not at the expense of others. She respects boundaries, shares responsibility, and values loyalty. We connected naturally, without games, without manipulation. Life with her was full, balanced, and effortless. Through Claire, I realized the full extent of Jenna's manipulation. I hadn't lost anything that mattered. She had chosen chaos, entitlement, and validation over genuine partnership. I had chosen myself, and the rewards were tangible. My business, my happiness, my dignity. Jenna's final humiliation came quietly, indirectly. I heard from mutual friends that she had moved back into her parents' basement, scraping by on temp jobs, endlessly lamenting her decisions online. Ryan, long gone. The network she flaunted shrunk to nothing. Her independence had turned into isolation. I didn't respond to her messages. I didn't block her. She couldn't reach me anyway. She had tested me, tried to manipulate me, and had lost spectacularly. I had respected her independence. I had respected mine. And in doing so, I had won. The ultimate irony? The skills and patience I had honed while supporting her career became the foundation of my own success. The nights I stayed late to help her draft proposals, I now drafted my own contracts. The emotional labor I spent supporting her ambitions, now invested in building a thriving consultancy. Jenna called me once more, months later, leaving a trembling voicemail. "Alex, I was wrong. I see now. I need help. I missed the building. I miss us. I made a huge mistake." I listened calmly. Then I deleted the message. There was no coming back. The lesson was clear. Loyalty and love are not to be taken for granted. Respect must be mutual or it's worth nothing. And as for Jenna, life taught her the hard way. Independence without accountability, ambition without ethics, and entitlement without empathy, those paths always lead to collapse. Me, I'm thriving. My business is growing, my life is full. Claire and I are building together, honestly, passionately. And every time I glance at my bank accounts, my calendar, my apartment, I smile, knowing I chose the right side of the story. Sometimes karma doesn't need a spotlight. It just unfolds naturally like it did for her. And that's how it went. I didn't seek revenge. I didn't orchestrate drama. I simply respected myself and let the universe do the rest.